Alrighty, so it was a dead heat with the polls this month, where it was very close between Nordic and Celtic. Ended up being Celtic, of course. So I made a list of a bunch of characters that I like in Celtic mythology, but I kept coming back to Rhiannon. She became the very obvious choice for me. Namely, when I started getting Fleetwood Mac's Rhiannon song stuck in my head all day. Though I did consider doing the Green Man, Caradwen, Gwen ap Nude. I know Morrigan's a popular one, but I've done her before, and I wanted to try and explore something different. So Rhiannon is a horse goddess, goddess of fertility, referred to as the Bright One, and very much like a queenly character of the other world. So naturally, she had to be on a horse. So I did a lot of reference research before I started doing the video, namely because I wanted a horse photo with a little bit of action in it, or a little bit of. I wanted her to actually be riding the horse, because I know there are a lot of pictures out there done of Rhiannon just sort of touching the horse or standing next to the horse, and I'm like, no, I wanted her to be in her element, her, wild, unattainable, you can't catch me, Rhiannon. Also, in my reading, I found out that she generally has 3 songbirds with her. And so her color scheme is also meant to be green, white, and gold. And the birds are meant to be one of each color. So yeah, so I just started sketching her out. I've got a couple of my favorite references on the other side. Now I had it definitely in my head that I wanted her to have a queenly appearance, just because everything I was reading sort of likened her to quite a regal figure, and often related a lot of like royal personality to her. So, so thus there had to be a crown. So I'm just trying out a few faces. Just because this is a nice quick way for me to drop in something that I like, because I just wasn't getting expression that I wanted. I think this is the one I end up going with. Yeah, that looks nice. So I still have to size it and, get it looking right with the body proportions. But I like that she's sort of now looking at the bird. But anyway, in my references, given that I'm a historical reenactor, namely I do Viking, but I decided I wanted to go and look for some historical Welsh medieval costume. I'm not exactly sure how accurate what I found is, but I definitely wanted to get some inspiration from something more historical, less fantasy. That being said, a lot of Celtic mythology is very fae, which is cool. I think that's what's to love about it. But yeah, I definitely wanted to touch on some of the historical Welsh feeling, as well as that kind of mystical aspect. So she's got a crown, she's also got a veil, because most medieval women at the time wore veils. I was really into the long braids that you see in a lot of medieval artwork. Alrighty, so I'm trying to drop in a few symbols that I found are related to Rhiannon. So she's also meant to be a moon goddess. That's why I've got the moon symbol on her crown, her necklace, and on the horse's facial gear, bridle, I think. She's also said to be, given that she's a goddess of fertility and creation, she's got a lot of flowers related to her. So what I dropped in for her songbirds is jasmine, though I'm told most white flowers work for Rhiannon. So yeah, so I was like, I knew I really wanted to get some kind of balance between strength but still effeminate beauty. I wanted to give her a sort of a free spirit. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've done goddess related stuff, so it took me a while to sort of get back into this headspace of looking for a feeling that I needed to portray. A lot of this is just sketching and getting the sketch right. at this point I know what I want. I want the sleeves like you can see in that picture there. I want her to still be carrying a sword as sort of a symbol of her own strength and independence. I just had to make sure that I had the angle right with the handle. It wasn't lining up. I'm going to get in those details on the horse. Now, I don't draw horses very often, so I relied quite heavily on the reference. That being said, I also didn't spend a lot of attention on the horse because I am all about the lady. But as I said, the horse is an integral part of Rhiannon's character. It's meant to be on a white horse in a dress of gold. It was great because my grandmother gives me all these mythology books. I loved mythology as a kid, so I had to haul them all back out again and read up on my Celtic chapters. Because recently my interest has been in Norse. Now, Norse was the other one that almost got picked. Now, in the end, it was a tie between Norse and Celtic, but because people were able to vote for more than one, there was one person who had a vote in both Celtic and Norse, and I got her to pick the tiebreaker. But I am thinking that next month I will do a Norse picture since it was such a dead heat. Alrighty, so I'm happy enough with the rough sketch I've got in. So I'm just blocking in the shapes of the figure and the background. I just sort of cleaned up the silhouette of the hair a little bit, and I want that veil to come across a little bit transparent. I realised though I was going to do a white bird in front of the white veil and went, oh, that's not going to work, so I had to switch it to gold. So as I said before, her colour scheme is meant to be white, gold and green. So I'm sort of trying to like drop some colours in there. So I'm just quickly blurring a photo so I can get a little bit of a mash of colours so it's not just a flat background. Now, when I'm going to paint white, I don't generally just paint white because otherwise you won't get any highlights or shadows. Also, nothing tends to be just black or just white in a ambiently lit environment. So I'm imagining she's in some kind of forest with some warm sun. The horse is probably going to have sort of a warm grey look to her. And then I start to add the highlights over the top, so that way we still get some form. If that makes any sense. So if I was just to go straight to white, it would look unnatural. You wouldn't get any shape in there whatsoever. Start dropping in some of the skin tone. Pardon me, sorry. So I just turned the line layer to, I believe it was a color burn layer, just so that it's not so densely black. So where it's sitting over the pink areas, it's going to read a little bit more red. Yeah, I decided pretty much straight away she was going to have chestnutty, reddy brown hair, because once again, most of the artwork I look at, she's got that classic Welsh reddish curls, and I'm not going to complain with that because I love my redheads. And so now I'm just blocking in some colours for the dress. Again, I know I want to go gold, but I start out dark so that I've got some place to go with the highlights. And I find that a lot easier than, say, starting light and then putting shadow on. I like to paint light over dark. Oh, that bridle came up way too dark. I'm going to have to knock that back because now your eye just goes straight to that, not bridle, saddle, sorry. I'm not very good with the words tonight. I've been sitting in the office alone working most of the day, so sometimes I forget how to use my language. Yeah, I'm really glad we went with mythology because this is sort of going back to my roots a little bit. I used to do a lot in the way of mythology and fairy paintings when I was younger. I came from a very spiritual place. And one of the ideas I was having whilst I was doing this was that maybe it would be really cool to do a, say, Strong Women of Mythology series where I could visit some great female characters within a whole bunch of different pantheons, instead of just trying to recreate characters from one. So say, we've got Rhiannon, who's well on her way here. We could do Athena from the Greek mythology pantheon, could do Freya from Norse, Isis from Egyptian. It goes on. Anyway, back to what I'm actually doing. I'm just trying to put some shadows onto the figure, and also trying to separate the background from her. Because I was doing so much green, everything was sort of blending together, and that way you don't really get any sense of distance behind her. So I started to go, maybe if we work some blue in here, it'll read as different to her. And it changes the light, I think. It feels a little bit more mystical now, which I like. I was also trying to get some sort of atmospheric distance between her and the front of the horse, because we are sort of looking at a very foreshortened angle where we don't get the length of the horse. Get some shadows in on those braids. It's my favourite part, painting the face. I could do this all day, but as we only have a short amount of time to lock down this concept, I'm going to keep brushing some colours around. So I'm just playing with some layer modes to see if those highlights might pop another way. Didn't really work. Add in some more shadows just to define the dress. I love the tales that come out of mythology, because I've spent a lot of time getting caught up in fan art, which I love doing. But the beautiful thing about mythology is it's fan art that no one has a copyright license on, and quite often is very well known. And I would like to do more of this sort of thing, because I know a lot of you have loved when I've done this in the past, and I like to think I've come a long way as an artist since my time doing heavily mythology-based paintings. And I think it'd be fun to sort of compare what I did then to what I've done now. So I've never done Rhiannon before, but I have definitely done a bunch of Greek gods and Egyptian gods. So hopefully in the future you'll see me revisit those. So I'm just painting in I painted in some separation on the bird there before. Yeah, so I took a bit of a break, and when I meant to go away from the computer and go to the bathroom and get a drink, I ended up keeping painting and I forgot to turn the recording back on. So there was a bit of a jump there in what I'd done, and what I'd done was I'd sort of warped the perspective of the painting. So I flip it back and forth from left to right. And I find when I flip the painting straight away, I can tell if some perspective is off. So I warp it to try and fix the perspective. I'm also in the process of changing her crown, because it just wasn't working for me. It didn't feel right. So I went back and looked at my reference again. I pulled up another picture there on the side of something that feels a little bit more Welsh, that very circular, nice, clean crown. I didn't want anything too crazily ornate, but I wanted it to feel very historical. So now I'm just working on popping out some highlights, get that horse's hair feeling a little bit more billowy. Yeah, I'm actually really excited with where this is going now. I'm going to have to be careful if I do other goddesses because I tend to always end up drawing redheads. I'm going to have to remember to branch out. I mean, naturally, if you're dealing with European mythology, that's probably going to come up a lot. I said this is the classic Welsh thing, the auburn hair. Sorry, I'm a bit of a nerd. So now I'm just trying to work on the shadows of the horse. Of course, I don't know what I'm doing. It would probably be a lot smarter if I had my reference up at this point, so I could understand better how the shadows work from that angle. But at this point, I've just kind of gotten carried away. I'm just trying to mash it together as best I can. Put some shadow in where that sword is, so that you can get some believable distance between the sword and the horse. I am not really sure where the rest of this is going to go. Oh, there we go. Yep, I needed to extend that sleeve. That makes sense. I think little Anthea would have been very excited about me painting this, because little Anthea always just wanted to be a medieval fairy princess, and her mum was very good. And Mum, if you're listening, you were always very good at helping me be a fairy medieval princess. And now we enter the time where Anthea really waffles. I think mainly because there's not a whole lot of technical flash that I'm doing at this point. I'm really just doodling and painting, and so at this point I thought maybe some more flowers, because we really needed to get that fertility, that creative spring goddess kind of feel. Imagine her like riding wildly through a forest with jasmine flowers trailing behind her, and just catch that scent. Oh wait, I'm done. All right, well, yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. I really had fun. I listened to a lot of Fleetwood Mac out loud and sang really loudly, so thank you for watching. Bye.